Piers Morgan, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle responsible for negative press. This was going to be a very positive column about Prince Harry and his wife Meghan. I've not exactly been the couple's biggest fan over the past year, but I believe it's giving credit when it's due, and their tour of South Africa has been an unqualified success. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex haven't put a foot wrong as they have toured the country, shining an important light on many issues from gender violence to poverty and education. They've both seemed more relaxed and happy than they have appeared for a long time, even dancing for the cameras in front of the cheering crowds. I was going to say this tour marked a significant and much needed turning point in the relentless stream of negativity that is poured on Harry and Meghan's heads over the past few months, and I would not be alone. They have had nothing but praise from the same media that has been lambasting them, and it's been entirely justified. They've behaved like royals should behave, with dignity, grace, good humor, and empathy. They've also avoided being overtly political, sticking instead to speaking uncontroversially about issues where everyone can pretty much agree, like equality, conservation, etc. You might ask why they feel so much more comfortable abroad than at home, but that was a generous column I planned to write. Then came the announcement that they are suing the Mail on Sunday over a letter that Meghan wrote to her father that he gave to the paper to publish. That alone would not have irritated me. They're perfectly entitled to feel aggrieved at the publication of such a private letter, just as the paper is perfectly entitled to defend itself on the grounds of public interest. I imagine the defense will be that Meghan's father, Thomas, should be allowed to share correspondence with his daughter, given she had previously allowed friends to criticize him in America's top-selling People magazine. And full disclosure, I also write a column for that paper, but that is a legal battle and the courts will decide its merits. What did irritate me was the hysterically over-the-top statement that Sussex has decided to release to accompany the lawsuit. It is honestly one of the most extraordinary rants that I've ever read from anyone in the royal family, and one of the most inexplicable. What would they do this right when they have enjoyed a week of universal acclaim? Why declare war on the press who've just spent 7 days saying great things about them? Why petrol bomb glowingly positive end of tour reports with a furnace of negative fury? Not for the first time. I don't understand what the hell Harry and Meghan are thinking, particularly as we swiftly learn that they didn't tell anyone at Buckingham Palace about it. This seems like another catastrophe PR failure to me, one that has ruined all the good work they have done to rebuild their battered image after a long period of sustained criticism. And let's be brutally frank, they have brought most of that criticism on themselves. Their constant hypocritical preaching over things like the environment has rightly grated with people. You can't lecture us that every footprint counts, then jump on private jets every 2 minutes. You can't get the public to pay £2.4 million to refurbish your luxury-free home, then refuse to let them take photos of you at Wimbledon. You can't throw decadent $500,000 baby showers in New York with your celebrity mates and blag a lift home on the Clooney's plane, then tweet at the same time about the urgent need to combat poverty. You can't enjoy all the global fame and attention from a royal wedding, then refuse to share basic details or photos of your baby when he was born. That's not exactly how being a royal works. So Harry and Meghan have careered through the past year on a helter-skelter of hypocrisy, which has rightly led to them being repeatedly held to account for it, yet they don't see it that way. They see themselves as poor, downtrodden, massively misunderstood victims of horrible press bullies. In a viciously worded attack, Harry raged, "Unfortunately, my wife became one of the latest victims of a British tabloid press that wages campaigns against individuals with no thought to the consequences, a ruthless campaign that has escalated over the past year throughout her pregnancy and while raising our newborn son. There is a human cost to this relentless propaganda, specifically when it is knowingly false and malicious. And though we have continued to put up on a brave face so as many of you can relate to, I cannot begin to describe how painful it has been. Oh, please give me a bloody break, Your Royal Highness. The old Prince Harry, the courageous soldier and fun-loving party boy, would never have spewed such sanctimonious guff, but said he has been Meghaned, and that means when he's not pontificating piously about progressive Vogue issues, he's playing the victim card. My heart sank a few days ago when he actually told an impoverished young South African boy that he empathized with him because some days he worried so much about the world's problems he can't get out of bed. Really, Harry? What a load of preposterous and patronizing nonsense. I suspect this staggeringly privileged multi-millionaire prince's only worry each morning is instructing his servants in his palatial homes as to how he wants his breakfast eggs cooked. But when you marry a Hollywood actress, then unfortunately this kind of pathetic, though is me attitude often comes with the territory. In the next part of his statement, Harry really upped the pity ante, invoking the memory of his late mother, Princess Diana. My deepest fear is history repeating itself, he fumed. I've seen that happens when someone I love is commoditized to the point that they are no longer treated or seen as a real person. I lost my mother, and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces. Wow, I understand why Harry dislikes the press after what happened to his mother. Truly I do. Her death must have been incredibly hard for him to take as a 12-year-old boy. But let's be very clear, the press didn't kill Diana. A speeding drunk driver killed Diana. And if she hadn't recklessly abandoned her usual royal protection officers and drivers, she would probably still be alive today. Yes, she was the victim and subject of huge press attention, but speaking from personal experience as a newspaper editor at the time, I can assume she played the media game just as ruthlessly as we played it with her. She was the biggest star in the world and would happily and regularly collude with the papers when it suited her, just as Meghan happily and regularly colludes with magazines like People and Vogue when it suits her. But with all due respect to Miss Markle, she's not in the same league as Diana in terms of fame. So for Harry to compare them in this way is both wrong and slightly distasteful. And before inevitable howls of "you have no idea what it's like to lose a parent" young pour in, let me just point out that my father died when I was very young. He added that he has been witness to her private suffering for too long, and to stand back and do nothing would be contrary to everything we believe in. It was only a few weeks ago that Meghan was telling people at a function that she never reads any press about herself. So how would she know what the press is saying, let alone suffer from it? As I've often said, I've little time for Meghan after she ghosted me as a friend the moment she first met Harry. It signifies a worrying social climbing character trait that has seen her ditch many friends and almost all her family if she feels they may threaten her ferociously ambitious rise up the celebrity ladder. But what I think of her personally is irrelevant to the situation that actually sparked this battle with the media, and that is the breakdown of her relationship with her father. There is no doubt that Thomas Markle made a big mistake in stunting photos with the paparazzi before his daughter's wedding, as he has admitted himself, but did that really warrant him being banished forever in such a heartless manner? It's utterly extraordinary that Harry has never met his father-in-law, and that Meghan has now cut him out of her life. I've interviewed Thomas several times, and I found it to be a very normal and nice, if naive guy who just had no idea how to massively handle the massive vicarious fame that instantly came his way after Meghan announced she was engaged to a British prince. Rather than help him, they savagely punished him for a silly mistake, and his erratic behavior ever since suggests a father deeply hurt and bemused by losing any contact with the daughter he brought up with such love and care. Thomas Markle gave Meghan's letter to the Mail on Sunday because he wanted to correct what he believed was misleading criticism of him in People magazine from Meghan's friends. Judge him all you like for it, but imagine how tough the past few years for him too. He's never even met his own grandchild. Thomas has been no angel in this family wrangle, but nor is he the devil, and he should be allowed the freedom of speech to defend himself. Rather than going to war with the press in this absurd manner, Harry should clamber down off his hysterical hothead high horse and repair the real running sore causing Meghan's distress by making peace with her father.